is up, Mayo Media Network? This is Keith Jamison about Get Guy 231 across the DFS industry, and we are back. Feels like forever. The last international break until the World Cup, really. So last time that we're going to have multiple weeks with no EPL action, I guess, until the season ends. So a lot of games coming up, a lot of slates. Looking very forward to it. This slate coming up tomorrow is a very blue slate, and that's because we got three really solid favorites. We have Manchester City away to Burnley -500. We have Chelsea at home hosting Brentford -304, and then Brighton, our third blue team, home to Norwich -200. I think those are going to dominate your lineup. Those are going to be the decisions that we're making first. A lot of them are going to be higher priced players, and just looking for value to fill in from there. So should be a fun slate. Thanks for checking out the video. Just a quick reminder, like, subscribe, and comment. I'm on the Mayo Media Network or on Daily Fantasy Picks and Bets to Mix if you're on audio feed. If you want to find more of my content, check out my site, FSI DFS, on that is the website.com, or on YouTube, and you can find more from us. All right, let's get into the games. I just went over three of them. Two other games: Leeds home to Southampton +138. Then Wolves at home. I think this line's a little weird because I value Wolves higher than I guess the betting community does, but Wolves +200, slight dog at home to Aston Villa. So let's just start at the top of our list of players to target. And again, we're going to be going blue on a lot of this list. And I'm just going to hit all the City players right now. City versus Burnley. Let's just talk about that game. Burnley's going to be sitting back and taking a ton of pressure at Turf Moor and just looking to release on the counter. Like, this is going to be incredibly dominant possession side for City, maybe even upwards of 70%. So any Burnley options outside of just like a YOLO GPP, goal or assist, like, we're not looking for floor plays from Burnley. So we need to be focused on the City players. And I think you're going to at least play two high-priced guys. I actually really hope that after World Cup qualifying that Riyad Mahrez gets a break here. If he's in, like, Riyad Mahrez is one of the most, like, you have to play guys in the EPL, because not only does he take set swings with City, he's, very much the center of a lot that they do, and he takes PKs. And we see over and over again, because City has so much pressure in the opposing box, that PKs are drawn and Mahrez just converts them over and over again. So if he's in, I don't really see a way that to not play Riyad Mahrez. It's almost a guaranteed double digits with the upside of a goal, not only from open play, but the spot as well. But I hope he rests because of the qualifying, and that we get a combination of Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne, to me, is just lock and load, cover of this video. I look down at his logs. I don't need to explain anything to you on that. He just takes sets, shoots, everything, right? You get double digits, and if you get a goal or assist, you're over 20. It's like you just lock and load him in cash and optimal lineups. Phil Foden was a guy I really would like to see without Mahrez, because then he could take a share set pieces. They have been playing him as like a false number 9, but sometimes he can go out wide. 8,000 to get an attacking piece from City, forward eligible, potential chance of set pieces. I want all of it. So I really hope that the lineups are going to start with Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne. The rest of the City pieces to discuss: João Cancelo should be playing. That game was on Tuesday with Portugal. I think that's enough time for some rest. And he's just so important. Like Mahrez, they have depth at those winger positions. At fullbacks, I don't think City nearly has the same depth. I think the drop off from Cancelo to Zinchenko is like very, very, very large. And with Pep and City being in a complete dogfight now with Liverpool at the top, I don't know if Pep really wants to rotate a guy like Cancelo. But another guy that's very close to double-digit floor, then you get the clean sheet upside. Plus, if he gets an assist or a goal, you're looking at 20 again for 6,600. Jack Grealish, I think, would be the City piece that, if he's in, will be incredibly popular on top of like a Foden or De Bruyne. He's just too cheap at 6,300. Yeah, it's not the same Jack Grealish I got at Villa, but he plays in the front three, takes on guys, and he has a floor in that 6 to 7 range. And again, goal or assist. Like if City wins this game 4-0, and you only have like De Bruyne or Foden, there's a really good shot you might get run over, unless you got Chelsea pieces, right? Which I think Chelsea is, to me, is a scarier team than City. Like City, we know they're going to dominate possession. Chelsea sometimes can let us down. It's happened a few times. So That would be my take on the City pieces. On the Chelsea side, there's really only one guy that right away stands out. That's Mason Mount at 8,800. If in, he's always seeming to take some share of sets. Now they can drop off for Reece James. They could drop off for a Ziyech. Those could both be splits. But I think Mount is the guy I trust the most of that bunch. Plays in the attacking third, on top of the sets, on top of some goal upside. He's the Chelsea piece I prefer. Now, they didn't make the list, but Reece James, I think it's just really hard on this slate to spend up a defender. Maybe that will change based on lineups, based on values that present themselves. But Reece James, probably my second favorite Chelsea player. Ziyech probably after that. I've just seen, we've seen Ziyech have games where when everybody is in, he can struggle a little bit more than when he's kind of like the alpha. So it's like, Mount's in, I get kind of scared to play Ziyech. I'll probably have to do some little more correlation with that, but that's at least what my eye and like what my experience feels like it has been. But again, Reece James, and then I don't think it's the slate to me. Like I'd much rather play Phil Foden over Kai Havertz, but I'm not going to call you crazy. Kai's been really good for Chelsea since kind of taking over that number 9 role from Lukaku. He's I think like 8,000, so he makes a lot of sense too. Jack Harrison's next guy that checks in. Jack Harrison, since Jesse Marsh has taken over for Leeds, has actually been probably just as good if in terms of floor as Rafinha for much cheaper. Splitting sets, it's the Jack Harrison we saw a ton last season and haven't seen at all. I think he's tough build, but I can't help but say he's a guy I really like at 7,100. I don't think he'll be super high owned. I think he gives you a really good floor with some goal/assist upside. So I think he's worth looking at. Pascal Gross might be a very, very popular second forward, depending on lineups, right? So, like Alexis McAllister was on international duty with Argentina. I think there's a really good shot that he is not starting, which should open up sets for Pascal Gross. 7,000, they're -200 favorite, would potentially take a monopoly. I don't think we have any clue on their PKs anymore. He used to take, but I think the last attempt he missed. So I don't want to say, and Gross gets PKs, but you potentially have that upside too. But at 7,000, I just think he's a really, really good floor value. And again, like most of these guys, we want to see good floor, right? We want to get like 8 to 10 4 points. And then if we get a goal or assist, Yahtzee, like game over, our guys are going to smash. Next player on the list, Tariq Lamptey from Brighton as well. Again, this is if he starts, right? But when Tariq Lamptey's in, he's another just DFS machine, draws fouls, crosses the ball a ton, is actually just super enjoyable to watch. Chelsea, I don't think he's on loan anymore. I think they officially bought him, but he is just a problem for opposing teams. Norwich is already not a good defensive team. Brighton at home is always something that I kind of like. They've let me down a decent chunk this year, but Brighton at home is a thing. So sub 6,000 for Lamptey, I think makes some sense if you can get there. And then finally, only value play that really stuck out to me right now. Again, lineups could change things. Was Douglas Luiz at 4,300, taking a majority of sets for Villa. Lucas Dean is questionable for the game. We should know more later today if he will be playing. But Luiz is one of those guys that I never want to just go he's an epic lock. You have to play him because he's a central line midfielder that's going to be reliant on sets to get his DFS production. If he doesn't have set pieces or they only get 1 to 2 corners, then you're relying on tackles and things like that because he's not super far forward in the attacking third. But sub 4,500 for a set taker. Aston Villa is a slight favorite away to Wolves. So I think he makes a lot of sense to plug in for value if you need it. All right, that'll do it. Hope everybody does well. Reminder, when in doubt on the slate, probably look for the blue jerseys. Based on the odds, I think that will be a good place to go. And enjoy the slate, enjoy the sweat. Look forward to seeing you guys back next week. With that, I'll say, see you.